All right, boys, now in today's video, I'm gonna be going over how to stay lean, not shredded, 365 days a year. Now, this is something, without sounding big-headed, that I have just kind of cracked. Now, I've been training for about 16 years and I have cracked it. I've been a lot bigger than this, I've been a lot leaner than this, but this is kind of a nice, lean, like beach-ready look, decent size, decent condition, not absolutely pilled, not a huge, big monster. And most of the guys, from my experience, kind of want this kind of look. To just take your top off, look good, but when you put your clothes on, you look good as well. You're not a big, blocky unit. So, how do we do it, okay? First things first, I'm just gonna break this down. I've put some notes behind me, and I'm just gonna roll off the tongue here, okay? So just stick with me. First things first, guys, the goal should be to get lean, yeah? If you're watching this being like, wow, I wanna get shredded, I wanna do a photo shoot, I wanna do a competition, that's cool. You'll be able to get shredded, ripped for that show or for that shoot, but it's very important you reverse yourself out because you will not be able to maintain it. Nobody can, especially not you. I know I certainly couldn't. I did a bodybuilding competition. I was 91 kilos. The next day I was 100 kilos and it took me 3 months to drop under 100 kilos. 3 months, I gained 10 kilos. I couldn't get it off, okay? It was fat, I couldn't stop eating. Once you go past lean to like ripped and shredded, it's very, very negative, bar some more veins on your stomach and like slightly more vascularity. Other than that, your whole life goes downhill. So the goal should be to be lean, okay? Now, in order to do this, we obviously need to get lean first. So things like, people get too fat, okay? Dirty bulks should be a thing of the past. If you're somebody that does a dirty bulk for 4 months where you eat burgers, pizzas, mass gainer shakes, and you gain 20 kilos in 6 months and you get so fat, you are an idiot and you should probably be watching this stuff and get my course below, okay? You're the same person that has to then diet for 4 months, loses all that muscle and looks the exact same. We need to be doing lean gaining phases to build muscle, sitting slightly above your maintenance calories. This is how you, because then you can stay in the bulk long term, and that's how you're gonna actually build muscle, okay? So let's just put that one to bed. Dirty bulks need to be in the bin. These like super high calorie bulks, get rid of them. We do lean gaining phases, and we can't start a lean gaining phase unless you are lean first, okay? Like I am ready to go into a lean gaining phase. If I decided I wanted to do a 6-month gaining phase and put some muscle back on my frame, I'm in a position to do so. If you're watching this and you've got a stomach out here and you've got tits, you are not in a position to do a lean gaining phase. You need to go into a fat loss phase. So first things first, I know this is about staying lean. Obviously, to stay lean, we do want to have muscle, right? Because we don't just want to be lean and skinny. The goal is to stay lean, but whilst we're lean, we also want to have muscle. And the only way you're going to build that muscle is through muscle building phases, through gaining phases, through an increase in calories. But in order to go into that gaining phase, guys, you have to be lean. So if you're watching this and you're slightly overweight and you don't feel right, you need to take yourself into a conservative fat loss phase. By conservative, I mean a small deficit below your maintenance, increase your cardio, get consistent with your training, clean up your food, and lose some body fat. Once you can see the kind of upper portion of your abs, you are then ready to go into a lean gaining phase. From here, every time you go through this lean gaining phase, you will build more and more muscle, which means every time you diet down in the future, you'll be able to diet down on more food. And eventually you get to a point where it's kind of easier to stay lean. I have a much easier time staying lean because I can eat 2,800 calories per day and maintain my body weight, whereas some guys have to diet down on 1,800 calories because they have no muscle. So these people, although they want to be lean, you want to be building some muscle. The issue we have, guys, is people go into these dirty bulks and 9 months of the year they're training in a hoodie and like an oversized t-shirt because they can't even look in the mirror. They've got spots all over their face, they've got a moon face, and then they do, you know, a 12-week cut once a year and like look half decent. But they don't gain that much muscle because all they really gained was fat. If your maintenance calories are 2,500, yeah, and you do a 12-week bulk at 4,000 calories, you will not build as much muscle as the guy that goes from 2,500, goes to 3,000 and does it for 6 months. He has more time in a surplus than you. He will build more muscle. he will build more strength. He will gain less fat. So meaning when he diets down, he doesn't have to diet down as long. The longer you diet down for, the more chance of losing muscle, because we're in a deficit for a prolonged period of time, especially if you're a complete fatty from the start and you're 30% body fat, okay? So when we're trying to build muscle, we are doing it in a lean gaining phase. That is going to enable you to stay lean long term. Of course, you have to go through a few lean gaining phases, especially if you're a beginner, to build a decent foundation of muscle. I'm not going to go into that, it's a different video, but if you want to learn and fast track it, guys, I've got 50% off my course below, and I've also got my premium coaching for the serious guys that want to work with me one-to-one, okay? So, the goal is to be lean, not shredded. How do we do it 365 days a year? How do I stay like this all the time, okay? Once I've built a decent amount of muscle, okay, and not let myself get too fat in the process, I will do little mini cuts every now and then. So every now and then, guys, I won't lie to you, I'll get a little bit softer than this. Like this, I look particularly lean at the moment because I'm like trying to push it because I've got a Europe trip coming up and I want to look better than usual, okay? Now, in these lean gaining phases that people go through, you need to have little mini cuts in between. So if you're having like a 3-month gaining phase, you do a little 4-week mini cut. 3-month gaining phase, 4-week mini cut. 3 months, 4-week mini cut. That would be a year, okay? And in that year, that person's had 9 months gaining and 3 months dieting into 3 1-month blocks. And I guarantee you that person's gonna have a great body composition at the end of the year with way more muscle as well. And they're not gonna be in a bad position. We should only really be doing one like big fat loss phase a year, which might be like an 8, 12, 16-week fat loss phase. You shouldn't be bulking, cutting all the time, because you just go up, down, and you stay the same. I did this for the first 5 years of training. I just never looked any different. I'd bulk and I'd cut, and my bulk was, I was 16 years old, and my bulk was 4,000 calories with serious mass shakes and Pizza Express and like tuna and cheese paninis that I was like making at home with olive oil, like stupid stuff that I just wish I had me to help when I was younger. But anyway, so in order to stay lean, we need to be not get too fat in our gaining phases. We do this by lean gaining, and we do this by throwing in mini cuts every now and then. We do throw in a fat loss phase once a year when we're trying to dial it in completely, because when you get yourself down to a really low levels of body fat, you see kind of what your weaknesses are, right? Like I need to work on my chest a bit more this year. I'm gonna implement more volume around my chest in my next push-up. You really start to see what your physique's about. And that's enough of that on food as well. Guys, we've got to talk about cardio as well. Back in the day, it was believed that in a gaining phase, you don't do cardio because cardio burns muscle. This is not true. Cardio burns calories. Cardio, when used properly, can massively benefit your deficit and massively benefit your bulk. So cardio used in a gaining phase, you can do it after a meal and you're gonna get hungrier straight away. You can do it to kind of increase your appetite a little bit. So if you go to let's say you're in a gaining phase and you're struggling to get your food in, okay? If you go to the gym, let's say you hit a big session and you have an 800 calorie shake post-workout, okay? Not a serious mass tube one. I'm talking like a good quality whey protein, some fruit in there, maybe some oats, banana, some honey, some dates, whatever. Like quick carbohydrates going straight in to replenish the workout, yeah? The energy lost in the workout. From there, as it's liquid form, it's kind of half digested. You're then gonna take yourself for a 15, 20 minute incline walk or a cross trainer session, and you're not gonna feel bloated and fucked on the cross trainer. And after an hour or so, you're probably ready to go and have that second meal. So that's when cardio can be really effective in the gaining phase. Plus, just for your health markers, for your blood pressure and things like that, it should always stay in. But for me, trying to stay lean all year, in order for me to eat the food I wanna eat, I have to be doing cardio. So where I live in Bali, it's very easy for me to get to the gym. So I'll do 30 minutes of cardio every day. So that's 7 times a week. And it's actually more than that. It's either 45 minutes or 30 minutes, okay? I get it done every single day. It's either boxing or it's like an erg bike or sometimes a Stairmaster or sometimes I'll do like a conditioning class. But by doing that, it allows me, if I wake up in the morning and I have a black coffee and I go and do 45 minutes of cardio and I push my first meal back until 10, 11 o'clock. Hold on, 11 o'clock I've had my first meal, I go to bed at 10, I've got 3,000 calories to play with in a very short window. That makes my life very, very easy. Okay, but if I could only eat 2,000 calories because I had no muscle, it would make my life very hard if I only had 2,000 calories. And imagine if I had my first meal at 7 a.m. Suddenly we're thinking, shit, I've had 600 calories at 7 a.m. I'm going to bed at 10, 11. I can only eat, 1,400 calories. I'm stuffed. And this is when you have people having like 4 monsters a day and all of this stupid stuff, right? So you've got to try and increase how many calories your body can handle. And the best way to do that is these lean gaining phases, or like prolonged reverse diets, where you almost like build your body's metabolism. So just imagine this, right? Imagine you maintain your weight at 2,500 calories. And you decide to go into a fat loss phase and you drop down to 2,250 calories, you increase your cardio, you increase your steps, your training's on, a few weeks, you diet down, then you drop down to 2,000 calories. Let's say after 8 weeks, you're down at 2,000 calories. So you started at 2,500 calories, you finish at 2,000 calories. Your cardio and steps started down here, they finished up here, okay? And you're now very, very lean. What most people do is they then think, right, I'm lean, I'm going into a bulk. And they go from 4,000 calories to, from 2,000 calories to 4,000 calories. What do we think is going to happen to your nice lean physique with a 2,000 calorie increase per day? You are fat straight away, very, very quickly. But if this person was disciplined, followed my guidelines, used me as a coach, we'd go from 2,000 calories, very lean, to 2,500. We've brought himself back up to maintenance. We've kept cardio super high. What's going to happen here is he's going to replenish some glycogen. He's going to fill out. He's going to feel a bit better, but he's not going to gain body fat because he's gone from a deficit to maintenance. And that was maintenance with his cardio and steps down here. They're still up here. So actually that maintenance might even be a small deficit. From here, we're going to increase from 2.5 to 2.7, keep cardio and steps high. 2.7 to 2.9, keep cardio and steps high. 2.9 to 3.1, then maybe drop cardio and steps a little bit. All whilst his training is getting better and better and stronger and stronger. And then this person that creeps up to maybe 3,500 calories over 6 to 9 months stays very lean, but his body gets used to 3,500 calories a day with a good amount of steps and cardio that we're slowly decreasing over time till we get to like baseline cardio a few times a week. Imagine, so he's gone from 2,000 to 3,500, but because he did it over 6 months, nice and slow, kept cardio and steps very high, he's increased his body weight a lot, he's increased his strength, but he hasn't gained that much body fat. And then when this guy decides to go back into a fat loss phase, he's pretty much maintaining his weight at 3,500 calories here. He can drop to 3,000 calories and start to lose so much body fat, whereas the last guy had to drop to 2,000 calories. Imagine the difference in your physique if you can finish your fat loss phase on 2,750 calories instead of 2,000 calories. You'll hold way more muscle, way more lean mass. And imagine if he did this 2, 3, 4 years in a row. Suddenly, he's got a good lean physique with a lot of muscle. And that's my principles. That's what I preach. That's what I've been doing for years and years and years. As I said, guys, all the links are below. 50% off the course. Premium coaching is there if you want to really dial it in. It's not for everyone. Hope you found this helpful. If you want me to answer your question, just leave it below, or you can DM me on Instagram. All the links are below. If not, it's all good, and I'll see you in the next one.